Hello, we are on the Real Programming channel. My name is Andrei. This is our 19th lesson. I greet you. We will talk about getting your files to the root folder. Congratulations, you got your hosting company lined up. You found a domain name and you got a server already for your web pages, even if you don't keep following along, because this is important stuff. Now, what will it's time to move in? Of course, so take that for cell signal down and the greater up all those files we're going to get them moved to the new server. Like anymore, the goal is to get things moved from, say, the kitchen for your old place to the kitchen of your new place on the web. We're just worried about getting things from your own root folder to the root folder on the web server. Let's get back on Starbuzz and step through how we do this. Here's what things look like now. Here's the root folder for Starbuzz. And remember your Starbuzz pages, there are two. Your computer where Starbuzz pages. Here's a new website name where it's using Starbuzz Coffee.com domain. And here's a new web server. The hosting company has already created a root folder for you. There are no dumb questions. Wait a sec, what's the root folder again? Up until now, the root folder has just been the top level folder for you pages on the web server. The root folder becomes even more important because anything inside the root folder is going to be accessible on the web. My hosting company seems to have called my root folder my domain.com. Is that a problem? Not at all. Hosting companies call root folders lots of different things. The important thing is that you know where your root folder is located on the OS server, and that you can copy your files to it. We'll go get to that in a sec. So let me make sure I understand we have been putting all our pages for the site in one folder, which we call the root folder. Now we are going to copy all that over to the server's root folder. Exactly, you're going to take all the pages on your own computer and put them all inside your site's root folder on the hosting company server. What about subfolders like the images folder? Do I copy those too? Yes, you're basically going to replace all the page files and folders in your root folder onto the server. So if you've got an images folder on your computer, you'll have one on the server too. Let's go. You're now one step away from getting Starbuzz Coffee on the web. You identified the root folder on your hosting company's server, and all you need to do is copy your pages over that to that folder. But how do you transfer files to a web server? There are a variety of ways, but most hosting companies support a method of file transfer called FTP, which stands for File Transfer Protocol. You'll find a number of applications out there that will allow you to transfer your files via FTP. We'll take a look at how that works on the next page. So, this is the files are sitting on your computer, and here's the root folder on the server. You need to transfer them to the server, and then they'll be live on the web. As much FTP as you can possibly fit in 2 pages. Seriously, this really is an HTML and CSS book, but we didn't want to leave you up a creek without a pedal. So here is very quick guide to using FTP to get your files on the web. Keep in mind your hosting company might have a few suggestions for the best way to transfer your files to their servers. And since you are paying them, get their help. After the next few pages, you vary off our detour and back to HTML and CSS until we reach the end of the book, we promise. Well, assume you found an FTP application. Some are command line driven, some have complete graphical interfaces, and some are even built into applications like Dreamviewer and Expression Web. They all use the same commands, but with some applications you type them in yourself, while in others you use a graphical interface. Here's how FTP works from 10,000 feet. First, connect to your server using FTP. To connect, you'll need a username and password supplied by your hosting company. The words is folder and directory are interchangeable. Most FTP applications are the world directory. 2. Use the SD command to change your correct directory to the directory where you want to transfer files. In other words, make sure you're in the folder Starbuzz on the server before you transfer your files there. Changes your directory to Starbuzz. Transfer your files to the server using the put command. It was 3 steps. Transfer a copy of the index.html file into the current directory on the server. 4. You can also make a new directory on the server with the mkdir command. This is just like making a new folder, only you are doing it on the server, not your own computer. Creates a new directory called images inside the Starbuzz directory on the server. 5. You can retrieve files too with the get command. Transfers a copy of the file from the server back to your computer. Let's put all that together. Here's an example of FTP being used from a command line application. And most FTP applications come with much friendlier graphical interfaces, so feel free to skip right over this if you're using one of those. FTP commands. Whether you type in FTP commands on the command line or using an FTP application with a graphical interface, the commands or operations you can perform are pretty much the same. Dir, get a listen of the current directory. SD, change or to another directory, 2 dots, means up one directory here too. PFD, display the current directory you are in. Put, file name, transfers the specified file name to the server. Get file name, retrieves the specified file name from the server back to your computer. They are no dumb questions. My hosting company told me to use SFTP, not FTP. What's the difference? SFTP, or Secure File Transfer Protocol, is a more secure version of FTP but works mostly the same way. Just make sure your FTP application supports the SFTP before you make a purchase. So I did my files on my computer and then transfer them each time I want to update my site. Yes, for small sites that is normally the way you do things. Use your computer to test your changes and make sure things are working the way you want before transferring your files to the server. For larger websites, organizations often create a test site and a live site too, that they can preview changes on the test site before they are moved to the live site. If you are using a tool like Dreamviewer or Coda, these tools will allow you to test your changes and on your computer. And then when you save your files, they are automatically transferred to the website. Can I edit my file directory on the web server? That usually isn't a good idea because your visitors will see all your changes and the error before you have time to preview and fix them. That said, some hosting companies will allow you to log into the server and make changes on the server. To do that, you usually need to know your way around the DOS or Linux command prompt, depending on what kind of operating system your server is running. Popular FTP applications. Here are a few of most popular FTP applications for Mac and Windows. Most FTP applications have a trial version you can download to try before you buy. For Mac OS X, Fetch is one of the most popular FTP applications for Mac. Transmit, CyberDuck, it's free. For Windows, Smart FTP, WCS-FTP, free for the basic version and for the Pro version is cost. CyberDuck free. Do try this at home. Exercise is another homework assignment for you. Check each item as you do it. Make sure you know where your root folder is on the server at your hosting company. Figure out the best way and the best tool to use to transfer files from your computer to the server. For now, go ahead and transfer the Starbuzz index.html and mission.html files to the root folder of the server. Back to business. That's the end of the tutorial and we are back on the web superhighway. At this point, you should have the two Starbuzz pages, index.html and mission.html setting under your root folder on a server, or if not, you are at least following along. After all this work, wouldn't it be satisfying to make your browser retrieve those pages over the internet and display them for you? Let's figure out the right address to type into your browser. Web page addresses start with HTTP. We'll look into what HTTP means in a sec. HTTP www.starbuzz.com/index.html. And this concludes our 19th lesson. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel. Please like, share with friends, comment, eat bananas, chocolate and nuts, drink more water for the effective work of our brains. Bye.